Let's talk about using ChatGPT for therapy for a minute. My name is Leanne. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I do research at the intersection of human connection and AI. And with the recent rollout of ChatGPT 5 and just how upset many users were to have lost the relationship that they had with the previous model that they were either using for friendship, companionship, or more, it's become really clear that this has become a way that people are seeking out connection, either casual friendship connection or therapeutic mental health support. I believe very strongly that every person is an expert on their own experience. So when I hear these stories and I read these articles, or I look on Reddit and people say they get great benefit from ChatGPT with their mental health struggles, and they say that it's been better than their experiences in the past with human therapists, I believe them, and I'm happy. I'm happy for them. I have one big concern, and that is the privacy, confidentiality, legal, and ethical implications that are not being addressed by OpenAI for the people who are using their product, ChatGPT, for therapy. Sam Altman has said it himself a little bit earlier in the summer that this is an issue. There is no guarantee that things that people have shared with this large language model cannot be subpoenaed if they are accused of a crime, or if they get themselves into some hot water and people might want to find out what they've been sharing with ChatGPT in their private moments on their private computer. Next is privacy. I am bound as a marriage and family therapist by my license in the state of California, just like any other therapist in their state, to maintain the privacy and the confidentiality of our clients and all of their materials that exist in their chart. And there are very clear processes and procedures under HIPAA laws that if any information, any personal information, any private health information is lawfully leaked out, intentionally or unintentionally, by me or an insurance company or my clinical director or my front desk staff, there are big legal ramifications. There are professional ramifications. I can lose my license and I can go to jail. I could go to jail. We take privacy really seriously, and they have therapists living in a little bit of fear all the time so that we are extra precious with your information. If, for example, somebody wanted to subpoena my records for any of my clients, if it's anybody other than a judge in a case, I can tell them to fuck off. If it's a judge, they have to prove exactly why they need it, and I can give them the minimum amount of information necessary to answer their question. If your personal information exists in ChatGPT on a server somewhere, and this large language model has records of the things that you've shared, Sam Altman himself has said that that is not protected necessarily. There is not clear policy or procedure about how that information would or would not be distributed if you were in trouble, or who might have access to that conversation on the back end. There's just no proof. And Sam Altman has been very upfront about how unprotected and how much attention this area needs if people want to feel like their content that they're sharing with the large language model is protected and private and secure. Now let's talk about malpractice. There is clear legal recourse for someone who's receiving therapy in the state of California. If they feel like the treatment has done harm to them, they can sue. They can sue. That's why every single clinician in the state of California who does mental health treatment for clients under a license has to have malpractice insurance. Just like when you have a car, you can't drive it unless you have car insurance. What happens if ChatGPT does harm to someone? What happens when ChatGPT is being used by someone who is sliding into psychosis, and that person has their symptoms exacerbated, and that person goes out into the street and commits some crimes after being reinforced by the large language model, and that person goes to jail? Can't sue ChatGPT for your legal bills. Can't sue OpenAI for your behavioral health treatment that you're going to need once you get out of jail because your symptoms were exacerbated by interacting with the large language model. No recourse. And for many people, this is not an issue. For many people, they're just using it and they're not suffering from a significant mental illness. There are people who are. There are people I know personally who are and who have had their symptoms exacerbated by interacting with this large language model. Now, again, humans are not infallible. So could it be that this person that I'm referring to went to a human therapist and had their symptoms exacerbated? I mean, yes, that would be a very shameful that clinician couldn't have done the right thing when someone's clearly experiencing psychosis. But let's just say that there was a shitty therapist, a shitty human therapist that this person went to for help while they were sliding into psychosis. This shitty human therapist made their symptoms worse. That therapist can be sued and can have extreme legal consequences for that, up to and including going to jail for years. Years. So to recap, you're the expert on your experience. You use whatever tools you want to use that you feel are effective. You're the expert on your experience. If you're concerned about privacy, I would be cautious. And if you're concerned that this might eventually do damage, or if you know someone who's interacting with a large language model, then you're concerned that that large language model might do damage or do harm to that person, just know you have no legal recourse against the product, ChatGPT, or the company, OpenAI. Right now, the family of Sulsetzer, the 14-year-old who took his own life after interacting with the chatbot that he created on Character AI, their family is suing Character AI, and it's not looking good. It's going on right now, so I encourage you to follow along. It's going to be a landmark decision no matter what the decision is, but we are not yet in a world where we know if companies can be held responsible for the harm that is done to a human by the large language model product. So just be cautious, know that you have no legal recourse. And if you know someone who has a predisposition for psychosis or might be experiencing the beginning stages of a psychotic break, maybe discourage them from using a large language model. Follow along as I continue to dissect these big questions at the intersection of human connection, mental health, and AI.